Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Irish Bulls podcast, Jack in the Box. It's Ian McClure here, and I have with me, as always, my co-host, friend and colleague, Chris Mulholland. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Ian. Once again down in Portrush on another windy day on the shoreline.
Just the usual, Chris, I have to say. Obviously, it's been a few weeks since we've had a chat in terms of our new initiative, the Irish Bulls Federation. How has the feedback went, may I ask?
I have to say the feedback's been fairly positive. Nice enough that a few people have stopped me and commented on it, and also I think both of us have got a few messages, and generally people are enjoying the fact that we're able to discuss Irish Bulls, and obviously it's bringing up a few topics for discussion with them.
I believe you've been given a bit of banter, shall we say, about the title, The Doyen of Irish Bulls, Mystic Chris.
Well, as we'll probably find out as we continue this chat, possibly the crystal ball wasn't working terribly well as usual.
Very good. I think generally the feedback's been pretty positive. I've received also some nice messages, some positive feedback. So we'll see how it goes after this episode, Chris. Interestingly, I did receive a text message from the Hulk, aka Neil Mulholland, highlighting that you or I or both didn't mention him winning the World Champion of Champions event in 2016 in Australia, where he beat Scotty Tholborn in the final. So I'm not sure who's to blame in that one.
I'm going to throw that one over to you because if memory serves me right, you had that actually written down on the sheet of paper and forgot to mention it at the time. So I think you're going to have to take the blame for that one.
Well, at least you've saved my skin there because I did tell him that, but I don't think he actually believed me. Also, some interesting feedback from previously Mossley based and now Old Bleach kingpin Ryan Dinger Bell, the guy that has more clubs than Jack Nicklaus, was quite annoyed and gutted that he didn't make it into Adam McCune's perfect bowler category in some area.
Well, which area do you think he might have made it in? Because I'm struggling, I have to say.
I think there's a hushed silence there, Chris.
Right, okay, that sort of says it all.
Tumbleweeds roll across the bowling green here in Portrush. So generally, folks, we're here to discuss all things Irish Bulls, latest news, hot topics, events, and much more. We're going to introduce special guests, some experts, maybe some non-experts as well, and have some panel discussions. We're here really to try and promote bowls in Ireland and discuss things and take things forward accordingly. Okay, anyway, moving on, there's been lots happening. I guess the first thing, Chris, we have to start is the men's national championships at Ballybreaks Community Indoor Bowling Club. Mystic Chris, 1 out of 6, 17% success rate in terms of your predictions. Thoughts?
I think I did say I'd be happy with 2 out of 6. So I probably should have rang Adam and there's a couple of people that played the last game in the triples because they just pulled me out to actually get one victory. But 3 fell at the semi-finals stage to start with. So obviously it was a bit of the kiss of death. You were one of the ones that let me down, so we'll not go too far into it.
Well, I have to say that's my excuse. You give a really kiss of death to me anyway, so yeah, that's my excuse.
Still some very good performances now and some good play over the weekend. So I think we'll just run through the winners. Under 25 singles, it's Daniel Spratt. The open singles, Adam McCune. The pairs, William Orr and Peter Hockey. The triples, Ryan McElroy, Jack Moffat, Adam McCune. The rinks was the same 3 in the triples with Jaden Kyle moving in at lead. And in the senior rinks was John Nichol, James Caldwell, Stephen Moran and Stephen Coleman. Like myself, Ian, you were down at some of the games you're obviously involved in playing. Any standout performances for you from the weekend?
One that caught my eye especially, I have to say, was the performance of William Orr and Peter Hockey in the pairs. They had a tremendous victory against Mark McPeak, aka the Mouse, and Sturdy Bennett, the funniest bowler in Ireland, in the semi-final. Played really well. Most people would probably acknowledge indoor that Stuart and Mark would probably be our premier pair, if you like. And then the final, they backed that up with a tremendous victory against father and son, Jaden and Andy Kyle, and dominated that, actually going up 18-3. And William Orr especially dominated the front in both games, although Jaden and Mark both played well, but William just, really got in and set the foundation.
Yeah, I have to say I wasn't down for the semi-finals. I was up in Belfast, involved in the ladies' things on the Saturday, but I was there. I watched most of the final of the pairs, and yes, I would agree with you. William in particular was playing very, very well. And it was good to back it up because a lot of times people come to that stage and have one very good game and people would nearly say they peaked to beat Mark and Sturdy. but to back it up again in the final, and well-deserved winners.
Yeah, it's probably fair to say as well, when Peter was asked the question, he delivered and certainly played his part to a full extent. Obviously, the highlight of the whole championships was Mr. McCune, aka the Brain, delivering 3 championships, winning the singles, tremendous. That's indoor and outdoor singles now for Adam, capturing also the 4s and the triples.
Yes, superb performance. Probably slightly surprising that he didn't do the double in the singles, and that's not taking anything away from Daniel Spratt, who obviously played particularly well to beat him. But obviously, I watched Adam and Stevie Kirkwood play the final of the singles. I have to say it's one of the best game of singles I've seen in a long time. Really, really high standard. If Stephen had been playing anybody else, he may well have come out on top in that game. And going in the back of that, Adam would have started a strong favourite against Daniel on the way he was sort of playing.
As a point of interest, Adam actually never took his trial ends in that game. So he moved on to rank 2 from rank 3, never took his trial ends, obviously had a long day's bowling, was pretty confident. However, went 6-1 down on rank 2 in Ballymoney. Tricky rank. Not sure if there was any bearing in that, probably not, but just as a point of discussion.
Obviously felt he'd got the weight of the greens, so didn't need the trial ends for that, but as you say, every rink's slightly different, so maybe 6-1 down shows that possibly he just struggled for his lines at the start of the game.
Yeah, tremendous performance from Daniel there as well, I have to say. And also, not to forget to mention Jack Moffat and Ryan McElroy, who captured their first Irish senior championship wins in terms of the triples and 4s, Chris.
Yes, again, a good performance, and obviously a couple of young players who are coming along. And again, with Jade and Kyle there in the rink, it's a very young rink, as it's a young pair going forward to represent Ireland in the British Isles next year.
Yeah, so congratulations to all our winners who head off to Clonethley in mid-March to represent Ireland. Similarly, Chris, we had the Ladies' Championships in Belfast Indoor Bowls Club. And again, the winners of these championships will represent Ireland at the same event in mid-March.
Yes, and again, some very good performances. I was there for the semi-finals on the Saturday up there. Again, I'll just run through the winners. A lot of people were doubly, triply, and I believe somebody was in 3 on 5, but they managed to play a couple of semi-finals early to help with the headaches of getting it all played. So the under-25 singles winner was Zoe Stratton. Open singles, Shauna O'Neill. Pairs, Zoe Stratton, Sophie McIntyre. Triples, Janet Bell, Alison Morris, Sandra Bailey, MBE. Rinks, Chloe Wilson, Ashley Rainey, Lara Rainey, and Shauna O'Neill.
Yeah, some really outstanding games there, Chris, according to the scores anyway. Obviously, I was bowling in Ballymoney, so I wasn't there to witness this. Shauna, singles and 4s?
Yes, good performance. Had qualified in all 5, so it's hard to know whether she maybe be a little bit disappointed with only coming away with 2, but coming away with 2 is a tremendous performance. And obviously did a lot of bowling, as did a number of others, because I think Chloe Wilson had got 3 on 4 and made all 4 finals, so there's a lot of play.
Yeah, tremendous achievement from Chloe there, getting 3 and 4 finals. Again, I know Derek Smith from our own club in Portrush did that a few years ago, actually only ended up winning 1. Similar to Chloe. So it creates its own problems when you're through in more than sort of 2 or 3 disciplines.
Yep, it does. And I think Zoe Stratton picked up a couple of titles as well in the under-25 singles in the pairs.
Yeah, a young pair actually lifting that title. Sophie McIntyre and Zoe beating Chloe and Lara Rainey. And I believe a brilliant final, 18-17.
Yeah, the pairs and the rinks, I think, were both just by 1 shot. So obviously very tight games.
Probably also worth a mention is Ballybreak's Young Guns losing narrowly in the final of the 4s. 16-15, Chris, there with Brooke, Gracie, Zoe and Sophie again, nearly pipping another title.
Yeah, I think, some players to watch coming through, some of them just sort of close to bringing in the international team, if not already there. So I think they'll be names worth watching for the years to come.
I think generally there that, if you look at the lineup of the ladies qualifiers into the national finals, there seems to be a little bit of a transformation there. There's quite a lot of younger players, Chris, progressing and actually starting to win national championships now.
Yeah, I think the standard is increasing on that, and there's a lot of younger players, but also we can't forget that the winners of triples was Janet Bell, Alison Morris and Sandra Bailey, MBE, who tends to come away with an Irish title nearly every year, so obviously is still more than capable and probably going to give the young guns a run for their money over the next few years still anyway.
I think also worthy of note is Daniel Spratt won the men's under-25s, beating the winner Adam McCune of the main event, and also Lorna McMullen fell at the final of the ladies under 25s, but she did beat the singles champion, Shauna O'Neill.
Yeah, which was a particular good win for Lorna, who again is an up-and-coming young bowler, daughter of a previous international, Alan McMullen, who could obviously hold his own very well on that stage.
Alan was a tremendous player, nicknamed Curly.
Have to ask why.
Well, completely bald, as some listeners might not know, as Alan. But Alan was a tremendous player back in the day. Early to mid-90s, he was the man indoor. Colleague of David Corkle and Brenda McBrien, Eddie McNally back in the day, Roy Battersby. And Alan was a silky guy. So I'm sure Lorna is a chip of the old block, shall we say?
Yeah, true. But anyway, again, with the ladies, we also wish them all the best when they go ahead and represent Ireland next year. I think it's worth mentioning probably as well, you mentioned Peter in the pairs, and he obviously did very well. Peter's second Irish title, for he was part of the winning rink last year that went to represent Ireland. So obviously, again, somebody that's up and coming.
Yeah, some players would argue, I tend not to agree, but they would argue that maybe indoor men's national titles don't hold the same standing as outdoor titles in terms of our outdoor game. I tend to disagree because you're coming up against better quality players earlier in the draw, and I think it's a tremendous achievement for Peter Hockey to lift the fours and back it up with the pairs.
I would tend to be agreeing with you. I think any Irish title, whether it be indoor or outdoor, is a superb achievement, and you're having to play quality opposition and win to gain any title.
Moving on, Chris, we'll just recap. I know the last time we had a chat, we were just having a recap about the World Under-25 Championships in Hong Kong. 42 players, 21 countries represented. That was played at Hong Kong Football Club. Ireland were represented by Jaden Kyle and Lara Rainey. And that event is now over, and I believe you have the results.
Yes, both went out there in the group stage in the ladies singles. Unfortunately, Lara didn't manage to qualify out of her section. Jaden, on the other hand, topped his section and qualified, went into the quarter-final against Corey Davis from Wales. Lost narrowly. He drew the first set 6-6 and lost the second set 7-6, so just the odd
really
shot.
Close.
Very, very close. I think he hit a bowl that was very close to Jack in the end before the last that could have won him that set and got him through, but obviously a top performance because there's a lot of top players over at that event. Then in the mixed pairs, they were actually very unlucky that they didn't qualify out of the group. 4 pairs in their group all won 3 games and ended up with 9 points, but just on the sets and the count back, they were placed third in the group, just missing qualifying for the quarterfinal.
Fantastic experience for both players. I'm sure it will really set them in good stead going forward. I believe Andy Kyle was also over coaching at that event. I was speaking to Andy at Ballybreaks during the Men's National Championship. He was telling me very long days, early morning, late evenings, and late evenings on the bowling green as well, not just off the bowling green.
Yes, well, I was at the event last year in my role as president of the AIB, so I know there's a lot of play. It does start early in the morning and the play is going on late. So yes, it's tough. A lot of bowls played by the competitors, so to come out of sections in itself is a good achievement. And
the winners of that event, Chris, were Kane Nelson from Australia, Rebecca Rickson from Malta, who I know is a really, really good player as Kane is as well, and Ciara Burke also in the mixed, doubling up with Kane for a double in terms of the winners of that event. Chris, women in sport, an interesting topic that we're going to spend a little bit of time on in future episodes. Obviously, the theme of trying to empower women in sport. The game of ladies bowls is on a precipice, possibly.
Yes, sort of bowls in general is probably on a slight decline, men's and ladies' side, but it's worse on the ladies' side. And I think it's harder, even though we've just talked about all the younger ones coming through in the indoor scene. It's great to see that, and that has helped over the last few years. Probably the numbers involved is probably still declining slightly, to the extent that some of the leagues are lowering the number of rinks they need to make up teams to try and make sure clubs can still participate. So it's something something that needs looked at now rather than in 5 or 10 years' time.
So many opportunities, Chris, as we've talked about these major events on the world stage and also locally, just enjoying the game, trying to encourage men and women into the game, but obviously we're focused on ladies at this moment in time. Tremendous opportunities out there for any lady, girl, woman of any age to get involved.
Yeah, the opportunities compared to when you and I were young are a lot better now.
Goodness, right.
Yes, even when you were young as well.
Right, okay.
It's not it's still a few years ago.
I think you've 10 or 11 years on me, Chris. Come on.
No, come on.
Please, we're not in that ballpark yet.
But the opportunities are very good. It's just getting people in, and it's trying to provide opportunities for ladies to play bowls. Historically, it's always been played in the afternoon, whether it be a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, and that obviously suits a lot of people. And it's trying to probably get a bit more flexibility. I think some people are, against change, but the ones that are sort of thinking we need to try and attract more ladies, it's not really about changing what's already there. It's adding on or being a bit more flexible. So that if people can't make a game at 2:00, can we play it at 4:00 or 5:00? Can we look at a Saturday morning? And it's exploring all those opportunities where younger girls here, maybe students or working ladies who just can't make afternoons now, it's giving them the opportunity to come into the sport.
Yeah, I think the challenge of introducing more women and girls to sport in general is a theme across the UK and Ireland, and it's not just within the sphere of bowls. I know that we are planning over the next number of episodes to have a bit of a chat, a conversation with some of our top lady bowlers and also administrators.
Yes, I think it's very easy to forget that there's so much goes on in the background in any sport. And without our administrators, we don't have a game. So it'll be nice to get an insight into what goes on in the background. And just staying on that theme of women and bowls, we're fortunate enough that we're now going to talk to one of our top players on the green. Today, we're fortunate to have with us Shauna O'Neill, who at the age of 24 already has an impressive bowl CV. You're very welcome, Shauna, and thanks for agreeing to come along and have a chat with us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really exciting to be a part of this, and I'm looking forward to chatting all things bowls.
Well, you do like to talk about bowls, so we'll be fine with that. You've obviously quite a lot in your CV already. Just to start off and look at that, how did you get into bowls to start with? At what age?
I started at 6. I come from a short mat background, so my dad was the Northwest Junior Zone coach at the time.
That would be Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan O'Neill, and he only had 11 players when he needed 12. So I wouldn't say I was forced to start, but I'd say I was strongly encouraged to make up that last number. I had to use 2 hands and all, and it was great. I loved it. Just caught the bug for it and started there. And I didn't actually start outdoor. Outdoor didn't come into my mind until I was 15. We were at a short mat junior day up in Belfast, and Mandy Cunningham had just took over the under 25 team as the team manager. And she kind of approached all the coaches there that day, my dad being one of them, just seeing if any young woman was interested in starting outdoor bowls. And he kind of brought the idea forward to me. Outdoor was never something that was kind of in my agenda. I was always really short mat orientated. So he kind of pushed me to go for that, and I did. So I went up to the trial day, and it was good.
I remember that at the time. Ian and myself were involved with helping Mandy, and Mandy did a sterling job getting an outdoor under 25 ladies team up and going again.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take you right back. So you were probably influenced quite a bit by your father then at that early stage.
Yeah.
For playing short mat.
100%.
Was there anybody else around your age when you first started? Was there anybody else your age playing at that time?
There was no one really at 6 that I remember. I was always kind of the young one, and you looked up to like the old, well, when you say older, it's like 15, 16. But to me at the time, like, they were amazing. We were just going into Christchurch Hall. There was 2 mats down, and there was just the 12 of us. And you're kind of like, oh, I want to be as good as them when I get older.
So
and
I sort of remember, and I remember being up there just with your dad at times. He sort of ran a sort of coaching program, nearly like a junior squad. So he obviously had a number of younger players, you know, as you get on and playing together at that stage of short mat.
It's quite mental when you think about it. The junior zone, like I said, Daddy had to like get me started in it to make up numbers. And it got to a point that I think just in our area, we're just kind of Limavegas and surrounding areas, that we got up to like 55 or 56 juniors at a point, which is absolutely amazing. And he kind of built that up with the support staff that he had around him. It's not just one man doing it. Like there was an amazing team around him.
I knew you had others around him, but it's sort of incredible numbers, amazing, young numbers. I mean, I think they're the envy of all other zones for what they had in their junior.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, that gave you a good basis to playing bowls and probably a good handle on strategies and stuff like that in relation to the game itself.
Yeah, short mat's very tactical, I'd say. You have to kind of look at what's happening before it actually does. So I'd say playing that game under my daddy, whose record in it is second to none, really.
He's obviously a top player himself.
Yeah, he is a legend in the short mat game, especially in Ireland. So having grew up with him and having his guidance, I think has really helped me kind of become the bowler that I am.
So you say you took the bowls and enjoyed it straight away, but obviously you're playing in your junior team, you're into your sort of teens. Any ambitions at that stage?
I went to watch my daddy represent Ireland and I just said, I want to do that. I want to represent my country. So I knew from a really young age, my mum did it as well. And to see a woman, you know, among all these men, because short mat is open, there was no, now there is, but there was no ladies team at that time. And she was representing her country alongside all these men. And I thought, I can do that. My parents are doing that. I can do that. I want to do that. And that was kind of my goal from a very early age.
So you had the ambition to represent Ireland from a very early stage?
Yeah.
Okay, so just looking at sort of any representative honours domestically. So what was your sort of first representative thing domestically? You know, was it at short mat? Did you represent anything at short mat?
I'd say like when you play for your zone is quite a big deal within short mat. And whenever I was 11, I was a reserve for our zone team and someone had pulled out. So I got the call up for that. And to me at that time, now that I think about it, it's a zone game, it's something I do all the time. But whenever I was 11 playing in the ladies squad at that time, I was so nervous. Like it was a really, really big deal to me. And went out and I led to my mummy. And I'd say that was probably my first taste at like real competitive bowls, not junior level, like senior ladies level. Like that was my kind of first taste and I loved it. I was roaring my bowls and just drawn to a jack leading. I was like, who is this girl now? I don't do that. I'm like, bring back 11-year-old me roaring for her own leading bowls.
But at Inder's own level, it is very competitive.
Very competitive. For anybody who doesn't play short mat or isn't from Ireland, zone within Ireland is very, very competitive. So that was probably my big breakthrough domestically.
And short mat is very strong within Ireland. So actually to get onto his own team, especially at such a young age, is exceptionally good. So just sort of moving on domestically then, you sort of talked about the outdoor, but did you start outdoor or indoor stadium first?
I started outdoor first in 2015. I kind of dabbled with indoor stadium, not that much. In 2015, there was under 18s in Ballybreaks. I was kind of with indoor. I played it for like 2 weeks in October leading up to under 18s, and then I didn't play it again until April just because I was so short mat orientated at that point that indoor just didn't really have any agenda for me. So outdoor was the first one I broke into in 2015.
And what club were you playing for at that
Limavegas.
stage? Limavegas?
Yes.
Limavegas.
Limavegas.
So what representative honours at that stage, you know, association, under age level?
I kind of did everything backward, which kind of sums me up as a person, I think. I represented Ireland first before I represented my club. So I played for the Irish under-25s in 2015, and then I didn't get my first ladies game for Limavegas until 2017. It's whenever I started playing for at club level, and then I got on to, there's no junior association for the ladies, so there's no real stepping stone there between for, you know, going up to Ireland or to even break into the ladies team. So I got on to the ladies association in 2018. That's kind of the way it worked out for me.
Yeah. So would you say it's sort of a wee bit backward, not the normal way? So under 25 level then, for your debut outdoor was?
In 2015 in Greenock in Scotland.
Then indoor?
Was 2018. We didn't have a team until 2018. That's when I made my debut. It was quite funny because they announced the new caps whenever they're doing it for, you know, if you get your new cap, you get called forward and there's usually only one or two. When it came to Ireland that year, the announcer was just like, can everyone step forward please, apart from and named like two names. So our whole team literally stepped forward for their new cap because it was just getting up and running like in 2018 and that was when I made my first cap.
It must have been quite interesting.
It was definitely different now.
So you said from an early age, you decided, having watched your father, you wanted to go and play for Ireland.
Yeah.
What did it mean putting on the green shirt when you finally got that representative?
Oh my God, I could have cried. I think I actually did. I wasn't expecting to represent Ireland whenever I went up to that first trial day in 2015. I didn't even realise it was a trial day. I thought it was just kind of getting everybody involved again with them bowls. And then whenever I got the message that, you know, I'm going to Scotland, I'm going to be representing my country and all, I was absolutely buzzing. Like there's literally no better feeling than representing your country and the sport you love, and it just was absolutely unbelievable.
It is what most bowlers aspire to.
Yes.
You know, and obviously not that many maybe get to that stage. Your age at this stage?
I was 15 when I got my first cap outdoor.
Your first cap at 15.
Yep.
Pretty special.
It was really special.
Very good. Envy of all your schoolmates?
Yeah, they didn't really understand bowls, but they knew that like I was surrounded by really good friends, some who I'm still friends with at the minute, and they were very supportive of anything that I did. They didn't get it, but they were supportive of me as a person. And
Yeah,
it was
well, I
great.
think the problem with a lot of people, and you obviously you come into bowls through your family,
Yes.
which is where a lot of people start bowls, especially in the short mat side of things. So bowls historically has been seen as an older person's game.
Yep.
But obviously you're saying that you started at a very young age, as I did as well,
Yep.
through family and you've gone through. So they mightn't get the bowls thing, but obviously everybody gets the fact that you're representing your country at any
Yeah.
sport, as a major achievement for that.
100%.
So then moving on to your sort of international debut at senior level.
Yes.
That was 2019,
Yeah,
was it?
that's correct.
Right.
I originally was selected as a reserve for that series, and
Okay.
then I ended up playing third. I started off as third just due to withdrawals, and it was in Jersey. I can't remember the exact name of the club, but it was on an artificial green. So obviously first cap and you're getting hit with artificial. I was like, this is definitely different, but thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great.
Do you recall your rank at the time?
I do recall my rank actually. It was Roberta Tinsley leading, Jane Boyd second. I was third and Nolene Kelly skipped it. That was my first international rank.
You talk about doing things backward.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that you had been chosen for Atlantic Rim by this stage as well?
Yeah, I played in the Atlantic Rim before I got my first cap for outdoor, yeah.
So that was through the high performance side of things. So you'd actually been involved in the high performance squad before you got picked for the international squad.
Yeah, so Neil Booth took over the high performance side of things. He became the high performance coach in 2018, and I was selected for a test match in Jersey in September, and then he pulled me after that series and said that I was selected for the Atlantic Rim in 2019.
That must have been quite nice.
I was absolutely buzzing, even though I had no idea at the time what it was. I was buzzing. I was like, happy days. And then Sarah Kelly and Sarah Jean Curran was on that trip as well, and they got the call up for the Atlantic Rim. And, we were kind of all talking to him, absolutely buzzing. They were like, yes, this is amazing. They were like, do you know what it is? I was like, I have no idea, but I'm representing my country again at another event. I'm buzzing. And then whenever I found out kind of the extent of the actual tournament, I was blown away that I'd actually been given that trust to represent Ireland at a World Bowls qualifying event.
Right, without being too controversial here,
Okay.
that probably
do be controversial.
that must have raised a few eyebrows.
100% it did. There's this new kid on the block and she hasn't really represented her country at senior level yet, and she's been given this opportunity to represent Ireland at a major event. Like, I understand that now. At the time, I was obviously just delighted that I was getting to
You were just buzzing and saw everything positive.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and
All
that.
I seen, I was maybe naive, just the positives, and didn't really, I was kind of in that bubble of Irish bowls at the minute. When you just become this big team, and didn't really know anything else that was going on around me or anything that would have been said about this 18-year-old getting picked to go to a World Bowls qualifying event.
I'm not going to ask you,
Yes.
but I'm going to ask Ian here. How do you think that would have gone down? How do you think that would have been reacted to by those that are playing the game for a number of years, having been playing for Ireland and not get picked on some of these representative teams?
Probably quite a bit of surprise, a little bit of shock. And obviously around that time, with Neil coming in, there was a bit of a transformation in the ladies setup. So yeah, I'm sure probably it took a few comments in various bowling clubs and bars and things like that, and it was a good discussion point. But obviously the proof's in the pudding, and we see Shauna sitting here today, so I think Neil possibly got it right on that one.
Well, we certainly can't say he got it wrong. Much better than he is on a golf course. Could have got a few things wrong on that when we played golf with him a few weeks back.
He's certainly not a golfer. Yeah.
We'll not go into that. So you've got your senior international debut. Major difference between playing at under 25 and senior level?
Scary difference. Obviously, the standard at under 25 level is still very high and it's still very competitive. But whenever you break into senior level, you're probably not only just playing some of the best players within the British Isles, you're playing some of the best players in the world. And, it was a great challenge, and I did thoroughly enjoy it, being able to go head to head with some of the best ladies in the world.
And as Ian sort of alluded to, you've obviously managed that very well in the years gone by. Irish titles, outdoor and indoor. What was your first Irish title?
My first Irish title was the under 25 singles outdoor. I won that, I think, in 2018. So I did, and it was very early on. it was supposed to be played the season before, but it was rained off and they couldn't get a date. So it was reorganised to, I think it was like the end of April, start of May. So really, really early on into the outdoor season. I was kind of going through a transition where I was really unhappy with my delivery. I was still trying to work everything out. So I was going through, I was YouTube flat out, getting all the top bowlers, trying to look at all these different deliveries, trying to figure out what suited me. And I tried all these different ones and I settled on one the day before the under 25 singles. And I went up there, played really well and managed to win it. And I was delighted. Like, it was the first title.
18 at this stage?
I was 18 when I won that, yeah.
I'm going to ask a question. You're saying YouTube?
Yes.
Did you consider asking any of the more experienced bowlers?
Didn't really know anybody at that time. I was still kind of just breaking into it. I knew a lot of short mat, but obviously you don't do your short mat delivery when it comes to outdoor. Yeah. As a young person that does, like, you know what social media and all is, I just went and watched, typed in Commonwealth Games. It's what I knew because I watched that in 2014, which was one of the main reasons why I'd started bowls in 2015.
In the Ian's day, he'd have been going to the library and getting a lot of books out.
Textbook deliveries.
Trying to find it,
Oh, yes, that would be
textbook tactics.
Encyclopedias and stuff.
Yes, I'm trying to find that. No, it brings up another topic, which we'll not get into now, but it's just bowlers in generally don't tend to go to coaches to ask for, sort of advice, what could we do? And there's probably a lot of information out there with qualified coaches that could help.
100%.
But bowls is one of the sports that if somebody is having an issue with something, they're very
really
unlikely to go and ask a coach, how can I
100%.
get help with that?
Would it be fair to say, Shauna, that in Limavegas, you don't have a club coach? I'm not saying you don't know. I know we don't have a club coach here either.
No.
But it's something that I know that other sports do.
Yeah. I feel like we would really benefit from that because, like I said, whenever I was 15, I didn't come from an outdoor background. So I wasn't, yes, I started because of my family, but and my mum did play it, but like no one, I didn't really have anybody that I knew who to like really approach. Yeah. So I was just kind of trying to figure it out as I was going along. And that's why it probably took me 3 years to actually settle on something that I was happy with.
Yeah, trying to figure it out yourself is not the easiest way.
It's not simple.
Either. But as you say, the short mats are great.
A great foundation.
It's a great foundation for going forward and the strategies of the game and sort of reading heads and all that and shot selection. But obviously, delivery tends to change, especially in some of our greens over here in the weather conditions we have. They're not running at 19, 20 seconds.
No, they wouldn't be the slickest.
Sort of, especially if you come to Portrush.
Stroke it.
Yeah. So we covered sort of your Landegrim was the first. How did we do in the Landegrim?
I got a bronze in the triples.
First major games and we're on the podium, getting the medal straight away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a pretty good introduction to worlds and bowls at the world level. Especially,
we played the fours first and I was third in the fours and it just did not go to plan at all. Just nothing was working out for us. It was a really, really tough first week and Nelly kind of took it upon himself just to kind of mix things up. I was originally supposed to be second in the triple and he kind of gave me the nod to skip it, which was amazing, but I kind of knew the pressure that was on it because the first week hadn't gone to plan and everything about the triples just seemed to just click. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. And fortunately for us, the triples did. It clicked and we managed to get the bronze and stepping onto the podium it was an amazing feeling. I can't even describe it until you're in that position where your name's called for your country and you're stepping on and you have a medal around your neck and you're able to go home with that. It's absolutely fantastic.
Who was your other two?
So I had Ashley Rainey leading to me and Courtney Manili was second.
And sometimes, a change is needed.
Sometimes, yeah.
But you're not sure how that's going to go.
100%.
And you're not sure how each player is going to take the change as well. But providing every player takes it the right way and tries to get on with it, then sometimes a change can just work.
Yeah, 100%.
And everything just clicks into place, as you say, it did for that. So it worked very well. What was our next major things? We obviously had sort of a break, shall we say, for COVID. Was Commonwealth Games the next?
Yeah, so the World Bowls team was picked for 2020 and I had fortunately got the call up for that. So obviously was absolutely buzzing and then COVID hit and kind of just put a stop on things.
The big deflation for a lot of people who were picked, because I know certainly in the men's side there were some people who had been picked to go to the World Bowls who then didn't make the next major selection of Commonwealth Games as well. Yeah,
with it being like such a drastic change. And then obviously when you're in the Southern Hemisphere and then when you come back home and it's being played in Birmingham, there's probably different selection criteria. And when it came to Birmingham, it was a really intense selection process. We had a lot of test matches, and you know, whenever you go through all that there, you're trying still to be the best teammate that you can be, but at the same time you're trying to be selfish in a way because you want to represent your country at that games. And it was hard, but it was definitely very rewarding. I think as a Team Ireland, not just the 5 men and the 5 women that was selected, but as a whole, we became a great unit. We became envious, I think, of the envy, if you want to call it, of most other nations. They seen, you know, that we were on the rise, not just when it came to bowls, but as a team. And whenever I got selected for the 2022 Commonwealth Games, it's obviously something that you dream about. Like I said, I watched it in 2014 and that's what got me started in bowls, but I never thought that I would have got picked to represent Northern Ireland at the Commonwealth Games. And when I did get that nod up, I was absolutely elated.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment you make there, because obviously you do want to get picked. Mm-hmm. You don't want to see the people that you're playing with play badly.
No.
But you know you're competing against them, so it's getting that balance of, you know, encouragement and that you're wanting people to play well. Yeah. You're maybe hoping you play a wee bit better than them and you're getting the nod in front of them. I think
that's the mentality you have to have. You don't want to see any of your teammates struggle or do bad. You have to use that motivation to push yourself and drive yourself to play the best that you ultimately can, and hope that the selectors see that is enough and see something in you and put the belief in you. You can't want anyone else to do badly so that you can get in because of that. It has to be on you as an individual.
You can only control what you do yourself.
100%.
You know, and apart from just the playing the bowls, obviously your demeanour and how you go about it all comes into that as well. Because again, if they're sending away a team of 5, they want to hopefully that 5's in a good bond, you know, as well, and getting on. And because, you know, you need a blend within a pair, a triple, a rink, you know, people that are comfortable playing with each other. And obviously, you know, we managed to get that, I think.
Yeah, there's so much more to just good bowls now when it comes into selection process. There's so many more. And
as you said, obviously you went through a long process for that. So that helps people getting used to playing with outs and people becoming closer as a unit
100%.
As well, which is good. Okay, so Commonwealth Games, how did we fare?
So I personally was very disappointed in myself for my Commonwealth Games campaign. You obviously put in so much work and so much effort, and everybody that's at that level, you make so much sacrifices, and you hope that it all pays off. You hope that all this hard work that you've put in works, and unfortunately for me, it didn't. I started off with the singles, and I had a group of 5, so I had a bye in my first game, and then whenever I was playing my first game of the tournament, which was everyone else's second, I was on the TV rank, and I had never played in front of cameras or anything before, and I think it just kind of overwhelmed me. I wasn't prepared for seeing my face on these big massive screens and all these big massive stands, and I just didn't play as well as what I could have. And when you're in such small groups in the Commonwealth Games, it's different to World Bowls. One loss can really affect your qualifying. So automatically when you lose your first game, the boys know because they went through this in the 4s, but they fortunately came out on a better side than I did. You're in the back foot straight away. So I lost to Scotland. And then I went on, and the next day and I had to play the Norfolk Islands, and I got a good win there. And then I had to play Laura Daniels from Wales, and I knew that was make or break. I knew I had to win that game. I went down 9 or 10-0 early on.
I was sitting in the stand watching that game, I remember. Yes.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was just standing, and I kind of just looked around myself, and I was just like, this is 21 up, and she's only got 10. I was like, I can still get to 21 first. And I managed to score, and I brought the mat right up, and it's something I'd practiced, because in singles you kind of need to have everything there. You need to be able to change the tactics quick, to just, all you have to do is try and throw one person off, or on the other hand, to get yourself right into it. And I brought the mat right up, and I managed to bring it back, and it was neck and neck the full game, and I managed to run her. It was 19 all, I think it got to, and I just missed a runner to actually win the match. And I came off, and I knew that was me out of the singles, and I was disappointed, but I was also proud of that performance, because I knew that I had done everything that I could do, and I had to just kind of get the mindset where I was like, right, okay, this is the singles done. I still have one game left to try and build momentum for the pairs. I still have another chance. So that's kind of the way that I tackled the singles.
And I think you're quite right to think that way. And obviously for somebody your age going into that, I mean, you're still young at this stage. You're what, 22?
22,
22.
Yeah.
Tough baptism in the first game, just being on the TV rink.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sort of major, you know, your first major, yes, being at Atlantic Grounds, Commonwealth Games are a different level. So it's a very tough baptism for you to start with. And I have to say, I was sitting in the stand watching the game against Laura Daniels, and obviously you did get off to a very bad start. But for somebody so young, I thought you showed an awful lot of maturity in how you played the game and the tactics you used, which showed that, you obviously thought about the game. It wasn't a matter of just going out and rolling the 4 bowls. You're thinking about how you can better your game or how you can try and put the opponent off, which, as you say, is, a big part of playing singles especially.
Yeah, it was kind of my first major singles berth. I had the Europeans just before it, but the singles and then your TV rank. I think if I was with other people whenever I was on that, or I had started with the pairs first, it maybe would have settled the nerves. But just the nerves for that first game is something now as a learning curve. Obviously, you don't want to have your learning curves at the games. You kind of want to be prepared for it all. But I got the chance at a young age, and I've definitely used that to kind of like better myself for things in the future.
And any of these major championships, you're trying to work yourself up to peak at the right time.
Yeah.
And it isn't always just going to go right. Mm-hmm. And singles a very lonely game. And if it's going well, it's great. And if it's not going so well, then, you're there on your own and you have to try and pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not easy.
Yeah.
In pairs, triples, you can have a few bad ends and your other people, pull you through.
100%, yeah.
So on to the pairs then.
On to the pairs, and you had another chance. I felt more confident and comfortable in this discipline. I was with Megan, and me and her had played a lot of bowls together, a lot of preparation for it. Again, in a really small group. There was 3 other countries in our group. So we started off, I think we played England first, and we lost to them on the last end. It was a really good game, but again, straight away, when you lose a game, especially when you're in a group of 4, you're on the back foot. So I was just trying to stay as optimistic as I could because I knew we had a tough group. We had Scotland next, and it was one of them that, like anybody could beat anybody, and you just had to keep going, just kept trying to win and hope that it was enough. It was top 2 that went through. So we went on the next morning against Scotland, and we had a really good and convincing win against them. So it came to the point it was going to be between probably us and Scotland for who was going to get second place, because England had won their games, and we were playing Fiji and England was playing Scotland. Fortunately for us, we lost against Fiji by a shot, I think, but England beat Scotland by enough to get us through on shot difference. So obviously that was like a massive sigh of relief that we had that favour and we were able to get through, and you kind of just had to regroup, and now you're in the quarterfinals.
Which shows how important every game is and the shots you score in every game.
Yeah.
Even when you may be losing, other teams are able to beat other teams, and it can come in your favour in the end.
That's something I've massively learned whenever I'm playing at the top levels, is how important shots are, that even if you are down or even if it doesn't look like you're going to win the game, every shot matters. Or like even if there's a count against you and you draw a second shot, how important that bowl is. Like it is so important. So managed to get into the quarterfinal then. We were playing Malaysia, who I think was the current holders of the pairs. They won it 4 years ago, so tough battles straight away from the first clip. And we had a really, really close game against them. I think we were like 1 or 2 playing the last end. We just pipped at the post, which is obviously gutting, because I knew then in that moment I was going home empty-handed. But I got to watch the fairy tale of our fellas after that, which was amazing. When you're a part of a team, if you don't medal, you want to see the rest of your team do well. You're disappointed for yourself. But whenever I came off after that quarterfinal, our men had their semi-finals and their finals still to go. So that was absolutely amazing to be able to be a part of that team.
A really good experience all round. Obviously, personally, slightly disappointed.
Of course, yeah.
Not coming home with a medal, but not that far away from it either. When you look at it, a very good battle in the quarterfinal, as you say, a couple of shots against a very good Malaysian pair was very close.
Yeah.
There were still some highlights to come in 2022 on the indoor scene.
Yeah, 2022, in the under-25s, I got 2 bronze medals. And then the year after that was the golds.
All right. And that was in the singles?
Yes.
And the mixed pairs?
Yes. And I think there's it's only a year ago and I'm already forgetting about it.
You've won too much.
I'm able to rhyme off all these games that I've lost. I'm
at the age where my memory should be going. Your memory should be okay at this stage.
Your memory is going.
Well, that's true. Who are you? Yeah. So yes, I had the pleasure of being there watching that as well.
It was amazing. It was a great tournament.
It was. Mm-hmm. Do you play better in the morning or the afternoon?
I knew you were going to bring that up straight away. It was not my fault. There must have been something in the morning air that just made me a wee bit ropey sometimes.
It seemed a little bit ropey in the morning.
Just the 9 a.m. games.
And it wasn't due to anything the night before or lack of sleep or anything.
Maybe one too many JTOs.
Because the JTOs were all you were on. That's the thing.
All I was drinking.
I see the point if there's something else.
She's not a morning girl, that's it.
No, she's definitely not a morning girl. From what I gather, albeit, and I'll mention it now, albeit she's travelled quite a bit of the world, obviously just recently back from Hong Kong. I don't think you'd have been trying the local cuisine. You're not really a great sort of food person.
I'm a little bit fussy now, to be fair.
Just a little bit?
Just a little bit. McDonald's got hit hard now, so it did. But
it's a good job that McDonald's travels the world, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's good. But no, Hong Kong, it was good. It was class, to be fair.
The magical Hong Kong, as Aaron Tennant refers to it as.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just since you mentioned Hong Kong, you're obviously just recently back from that. Tell us a little about that.
It was a great experience. Again, something I hadn't come across before. Like preparation-wise, I felt that it's hard. It's a hard tournament to put a lot into because it's outdoor and it's in the middle of our indoor season. So I was trying to adapt quickly. We arrived the night before the singles tournament started, which probably wasn't the best preparation ever, but we went down, we got a practice in the football club, and then the next morning we had to go to CCC. The football club was like greens at home, just normal grass. It was very heavy, but as long as you give it a life, you had a chance. But at CCC, it was like on a weed-based green. It was very different to anything I had played before, and had to play the singles against a young local girl who was very, very talented, and she definitely deserved to win her game. So we went to a tie-break, and she played her tie-breaks amazing, and on them greens, you just need to nail it with one ball, and then it's very, very hard to shift. And she did. She nailed it twice. And fair play to her. She won the singles. So obviously, you're a bit disappointed from that. But the pairs, you have so many more games, and you get a wee bit of time to get over the jet lag and a wee bit more practice. So I went the next day to practice just to try to get the arms swinging again. Maybe get the body behind the ball a wee bit more, just to really give them a life, get them stroked up. And we started the pairs, and we started off really well. We were going good on the outdoor greens. You felt like you were finally maybe adjusting back to them. Results were going good for us. And then next thing, typhoon, hello you. And we got flipped to indoor. And it was definitely whenever you're just getting, the big girl arm going here to try and slow her right back down again.
Definitely hard for everybody.
It was definitely, but I think you just had to try and adapt. You just had to go with what was put in front of you, and no one really complained. There's nothing you can do. You just have to, it's the joys of outdoor bowls.
I was going to say tournament organisers are looking to try and get the tournament, run, so you just have to get on with it.
Everyone just went with it.
Everybody in the same boat.
We wobbled a wee bit when it came to indoor, but we thankfully still done enough to get out of the grip whenever it all finished, and we were drew against New Zealand for the quarter-final. Two great girls, I love them, and it was a great game, played in great spirit, and it came down to a tie-break, and we were just pipped in the last end, so obviously disappointing to come home medalists, but a great experience nonetheless.
And it's good to have these experiences, and they all benefit you going forward.
Yeah.
And it just shows, for a minor detailed bowl here, bowl there, everything could be slightly differently, and it's just that. Okay, Shauna, thanks for that so far. I'm just going to stop you there, and we'll come back to that and revisit it in the next episode and talk about how you got on in Australia and what went on from that. Some very good points there, Ian, so far, but that'll round us off for this episode. So from sunny Portrush, thank you very much, and goodbye until our next episode of Jack in the Box.